Thank you, Team Australia. We'll take about 10 minutes for questions. If you guys could help us out by saying your handle before you give an answer, that'll help our recorders out.
Hey guys, good effort. Coming from the contenders and then to the World Cup and playing against South Korea at BlizzCon, was that fun, scary, surreal? Like how did that, like coming out today, how were you feeling?
I'm a Kraken. For me personally, it's obviously like a huge jump in skill level. I think that game for me highlighted a lot of the reason why they're the best players in the world, and sort of highlighted a lot of like what I needed to learn and how I need to like better try to play around, because some of the stuff they were doing, you don't see it much else. You know, they take really big risks and they make really big plays, and it's kind of hard coming from contenders where people aren't nearly as good. It's hard to get around that. So.
Hi guys, question for you. What's the takeaway from this for you to work on and improve on for next time?
I think we need more time to compete with Overwatch League players. I think they've had a year of this or more, of this kind of intense training. I think we showed what we can do in 2 months, and I think that's really important for these players.
Hey guys, how do you feel your performance might have reflected on your ability to get an Overwatch League contract, or at least with upcoming trials with any teams?
For me personally, I think I played fairly well on Blizzard World, and I showed that I can be a top main tank in like NA and just like in the global scene, I guess. Like right after the game, I got a message from Mooma saying that I was nutty, so like that felt really good. Like coming from a OWL league coach, but I don't know. I think I can get there. It's just like a matter of time. I just need to get given the opportunity. I really think I can make it, and I have so much more to improve. I think I've got a lot of potential. So yeah.
We're all getting trials, but we get them on 200 ping because we play from Australia, and obviously they're really hard. But hopefully we did put a fight up. We did put up a fight against South Korea, and they're some of the best players in the world. So I think maybe that showed off what we can do and what we can do in contenders or possibly at Overwatch League.
And trying for me in NA, for NA is because where I live back home, I live in like a small remote like beach town. It's like a really small town, and my ping is like my internet can be really like questionable sometimes, and it's like unstable. So I'm trying from like 230 ping to 300 sometimes, and that's what I tried on. And I got really close to making some teams this season, but unfortunately I didn't.
So, coming from the contender scene, what more do you think the Australia could do, both from like a developer side, third-party side, to help grow the Overwatch scene, and help instances where obviously it's not feasible to go on boot camp in the US all the time, but what can the local scene do to grow more?
I'm not so sure about the local scene, but I think with changes into that contenders, with like LAN finals for like all the teams, stuff like that could really help Australia. Other than that, I think like the best bet we have is the internet in Australia getting better, which probably don't see happening.
Yeah, there's not a lot of money in Australia, so if people can start investing more, like organizations investing more, I think that'll give players the opportunity to pursue a career more full-time.
I think the LAN experience is the most important thing. I think coming into the stage against 8,000 people in the crowd, that's something that South Korea has a lot more experience with, due to the Overwatch League. And it's essential that Australians have that opportunity as well, right? Because, imagine how well we could play if these guys actually played on stage before, more than once.
Yeah, I also think if we were able to show us ourselves on an international stage outside of the World Cup, that would really benefit everyone. Like somewhere where contenders teams from different regions can sort of come together, so we can actually show that we've got the skill to play against those people, and we're not just stuck in our box kind of thing.
Now, speaking about contenders, a lot of you guys, Custer, have just signed, are playing with Sydney Droppers for Season 3. So how do you think your experience playing together as a team in Bangkok and now here will help you heading into Contenders Australia Season 3?
I'm pretty sure we should smash Contenders Season 3 and wipe everyone out, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, I think it gives us a huge advantage because obviously we've been coached by Gumba, and we pretty much know all the steps that we need to do, especially in this meta of what we need to improve on. So we still got him there, and we know what we need to do to get better, and we still play together all the time. So I think our dives will still be nutty against the Australian teams, and yeah. So.
Yeah.
I think Gumba's given us like a standard of how much work we need to put in, and if we match that standard, we'll win for sure.
Yeah. Obviously, it's a dropping competition, so we're not expecting to have any trouble. But there are still some really good Australian players in Australia that could put in give us trouble.
Just to touch on contenders a little bit more, especially CKM, you mentioned how it'd be nice for there to be more opportunities to compete at a higher level. Do you believe that the contender system has created a system kind of where the top team will sit in the top of the funnel sometimes and then kind of stomp on the other contenders teams and not get a chance to play on that stage? And sorry for the loaded question, but do you think that there should be essentially an international circuit where the top contenders teams can play against international teams at the end of that?
Yeah, I think that would be like the biggest thing, because if we're, like for us, like we're kind of expecting to stomp AU contenders, and if we stay together as a team, that will most likely continue, just because we're like quite far ahead of everyone else in the region specifically. So yeah, if we were able to like take each top team or something from each contenders region and have them play against each other, it could show that we're capable of competing, in NA contenders or in Overwatch League, rather than just in our home country.
It's the same in South America as well. Brazil Gaming House has won 2 seasons in a row. So it's not like other more competitive regions like Korea, NA, and Europe. So I think it can get a little stagnant, those regions, because there's not many good players. So what good players there are tend to like group up in one team, and then that team just dominates forever. So if we could see more international competition, maybe that could give players something more to fight towards and show our skills on it.
I think one thing as well is, let's be real, like no scout, or like highly doubt OWL and Academy scouts will look at AU contenders at all. Just like they just won't. So if we had like this international thing where they just got the top contenders from each region, played against each other, and these Australians pop off against these like big names, it's like, because like the scouts are going to watch that for sure, but I guarantee you they won't watch Australian Overwatch contenders. So I think that for sure.
Hey guys, Adam from Akshon esports. This question's for Custa. As the person on the team with experience, a lot of experience against all the players you faced today, were you able to bring anything to the preparation period for your team to help elevate your performance?
I think just the experience of playing on stage at LAN brings a lot, just sort of being able to sort of keep a level head at times. As you said, I know a lot of the tendencies of the players, so it's easier to identify and adjust. So a lot of those like little things that you learn over time, which is sort of what Goomba's saying and these guys have been saying, a lot of experience from playing against these top level guys on the LAN setting really sort of helps you refocus when you're in that situation. The more you do something, the easier it gets. So.
Hi, this is Chris from Overwatch Score. This one's for Custa as well. Last year you didn't participate in the World Cup. Then throughout 2018 you've impressed many fans in the Overwatch League, playing for the Fuel and Valiant. Then going into this year's World Cup with Team Australia. Did you feel like it was a personal goal of yours to improve so much this year? And since you're the veteran for this team, do you have any advice for these guys moving forward with their careers?
2017 I supported Team Australia's decision to send Blank Esports, which consisted of a lot of these guys. It was the best chance that Australia got, especially with how hard it is to practice. I didn't really have a chip on my shoulder from that, but I did want to improve just from the Overwatch League, just for everything, be the best that you can ever be. So I've been trying to do. Personally, for these guys, I think the most important thing for them is getting out of Australia, which is a very hard thing to do. It's a very limiting experience, and one where the skill ceiling is limited. So if they can get out there and start competing at the top level consistently, that'd be great. Obviously, it'd be amazing if Blizzard introduced regional matches or finals. But for right now, yeah, if I could say one thing, getting out of Australia is the best thing you can do, because that's the only reason I'm sitting here today. So.
For the record, I took his spot last year.
I have a chip on my shoulder about that.
You guys have a penchant for running Farah. How viable do you think that's going to be once Asher comes into play?
We haven't got a chance to test Ash yet, so I can't really say too much about that. But given the hero's kit, I think the sniper with like a scope could, well not sniper, like a McCree with a scope basically, could deal with a long-range Pharah better than a McCree would, depending on how much the fall-off is with or without the scope.
Really depends on the numbers, but I think a lot of the abilities make her a lot worse at dealing with Pharah than McCree already is, and they seem like similar heroes, so probably not a big difference.
All right, thank you, Team Australia.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and share, as it really helps out the channel quite a lot. Otherwise, be sure to subscribe and follow us on Twitter if you want to stay up to date with all of our content, and hit that bell to stay notified. This has been Darren from Akshon Esports, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.